Hi, fellow traders, and welcome to the first installment that I'm going to have on day trading with a small account. This is one of the very few times that you're going to see any type of PowerPoint or slideshow or anything like this. The purpose of this really is to demonstrate how to do it, through live trading. But this is kind of the setup video to kind of give you an idea of what we're going to be up against and some things that you really need to think about if you're getting into trading and you're starting to trade, with a smaller account. One of the big reasons I'm doing this, a lot of the traders that I work with and that I talk to in chat are traders that are going to start out with less than $5,000. 70% of the ones I work with are at less than $2,500. So it's very important that you understand the mentality that you're going to have to trade a small account, because it's not easy. It's very difficult. You've got everything stacked against you, but it's possible to be successful. You just have to know going into this what you're going to be up against so that you can be prepared and react to these situations in the correct way. So most of you already know me, but just in case, I'm an automotive engineer by profession. Got into teaching, so I'm a professional educator, meaning I'm licensed to teach in the state of South Carolina, and I've been doing that for a while. And I'm also a moderator with Warrior Trading. If you're in the chat room, you see me there every day. Also a trading mentor slash coach. I think both of those go together. I work with new traders. I've been doing this for over a year now. I'm trying to help new traders get to where I'm at or get on the right track. And there's a lot that goes into that. It's more than just learning how to trade and learning the setups. It's a lot of it is psychology and training your brain to see things and to react to things the correct way. I've actually been in the market since 1999. I opened up my first Ameritrade account back in 1999. There was no education, no support, nothing. It was just open your account, figure out what you want to trade it, and hope you make money. But I kind of bounced around with that, and then it was around Thanksgiving of 2013 that I was watching either CNN or something, and I saw where there was a commercial that was talking about day trading, and you can make all of this money in penny stocks, and you don't need all this to start, and blah blah this. So I got the bug again and came back and decided that January 2014 I want to start learning. I'm gonna start the education, and I'm gonna do things the right way. So that's where it all started for me. And I very quickly realized that penny stocks was not the way to go. And we'll talk about that, a little bit as well. Now you want to ask yourself these questions, because you really need to know what you're getting into when you're trading. Would you start a business if you had no idea what the cash flow would be? Would you start a business if you have very little experience in that business or training compared to your competition? Would you start a business where your main competitors were all well funded and you weren't. And would you start a business without a business plan? Now, obviously, the correct answer to all of these would be, no, you wouldn't do it. But in reality, 90% of the people that get into trading get into it answering yes to all those questions. Training, experience, the psychology of it, understanding that you're gonna fail at some point or another. That's just the way we learn. Or that you're not thinking that you're so smart that you can, outsmart the market and outsmart these computers and these other guys that are a lot more well funded than you are. If you understand that where you are in this equation, you're going to have a better chance of succeeding. Because Wall Street is paved with the souls of all those who didn't learn this lesson until it was too late. I know a lot of traders who started and who really thought they knew what they were doing. They thought they had the world, wrapped around his fingers, that they could, do anything that they set their mind to. And that's what you want to believe, but you have to understand their parameters that you're going to have to work within. And that's part of why I'm doing this. Because what we do, we go to school, we get our education, we get training, and we get a job, and we work for somebody long enough. If we have aspirations to start a business, then we're going to work for somebody and get experience, and then we're going to go off and start our own business. And that's just the way it is. But in trading, we don't think that way. We don't think we need to, and we have to. You have to get your education, and you have to be ready mentally and financially, ready to tackle this. And most small account traders, they come in with the wrong focus. They don't have a whole lot of money. I'm not going to say they, because I'm going to say we, because I was in that bunch too. And I'm not too far removed from that. We had the wrong focus. We start thinking about money. We don't have money, but we want money. That's why we're trading, because it seems to be the easiest and the most legal way to get money without going out, selling drugs and all of this stuff. This is a way we can use our money, we can be legit with it, and we have unlimited earning potential. And we want to make this money because we want to get away from this job that we hate, that we despise getting up and going to every morning. But that in itself creates these psychological issues that makes it even harder for us to trade, a small account. And one of the things that I know a lot of traders make mistakes on is when they're doing the simulator, you're not trading with the same amount of money that you're going to be trading with when you open your account. And people don't understand, they start losing because you're not comfortable trading with smaller share size. And you don't understand that what works with larger share sizes will not work with small share sizes. The way I trade with my big account does not work well trading with a small account. And I believe that I'm going to have some issues, and hopefully, I'll be able to document them and show you exactly what issues you're going to have when you're going from in your simulator account with $10,000 or $15,000, and then all of this buying power, down to a $2,500 account or a $1,500 account with very limited buying power. So these are things that's going to you're going to run into, and the problems that you're going to have, and the problems that you're probably going to see me have. And I've probably beat this horse to death. Trading with a small account is much more difficult because if you have a large account, you can make many mistakes. If you're trading small. Now, yeah, if you have a large account and you risk 90% of your account size and you lose, then yeah, you're gonna blow up just as quick as we will with a small account. But large accounts generally have more money and they give traders a little bit more cushion against making mistakes. So that's another thing that adds stress to us when we're trading. Trading a small account, we gotta have very strict risk management. We have to make sure that we stick to our stop losses, because if we don't, we're gonna blow up a lot quicker. Because number one, we're undercapitalized, and number two, if you're trading, if somebody comes in and puts $600-700 in a Sure Trader account, and you take one big loss, you can't use margin anymore. You're pretty much done until you can add some more money to the account. You don't want to have to stick to trying to trade $1 and $2 stocks, because that's even harder to make money. You'll see what I'm talking about. That those tickers are even harder to trade and harder to book profits on. All right, one of the things that we have to do is use leverage. And I was terrified to do this when I first started trading. I refused to do it. I tried to trade just using the cash I had on hand, but that did not work. I could not make any money just trading on cash. I had to use margin, and I had to learn how to use it, correctly. You can use margin irresponsibly and jump in setups that aren't really good setups. You're just taking a big risk. You don't want to use margin for that. But it allows us, margin allows us to make decent trades with a smaller account so that we can, book some decent profits. The other thing we have to do is trade conservatively. Now, that's a catch-22. You can't be conservative with your money and your leverage. And you have to be, more risky with that. But trading conservatively in this respect means we have to make sure that we have the proper risk reward before we get into trading. We can't just jump in and think that we're going to, make it. We have to trade strategies that we're comfortable with, that we know that works, that we've tested it. We've proven to ourselves that we know how to trade it, that we understand it, and we can make money with it. If you just jump in and you haven't gone through that process, 9 times out of 10, you're going to lose. And you may lose big. And you may lose confidence. You may get upset. I've got a couple guys that are upset with me because, they booked one session with me and tried to learn my setups and couldn't trade them. Well, it's not my fault. It's up to you to practice it, to, use it in a paper trading account, practice it, get comfortable with it, understand the setup that you're looking for, there are parameters and variables to all these strategies that we trade. And, coming in and spending a couple of hours learning it isn't going to cut it. You have to put it into practice. And you have to learn that strategy forward and backwards, up and down, inside and out. Because there are variables, there are ways you can adjust it to fit the market. All of that stuff you need to learn before you really get into trading. And also you want to trade with patience. We have to be patient. Again, that's where that money creeps in. We need to make X amount of money a week so that we don't have to go to work, and we need this to pay the bills. And I can't sit back and let this thing grow slowly. I need to make all this money a day. What reality, making a couple $100 a day on a $2,000 account, you can make $200 on a $2,000 account. That's only 10%. You can make that if you have the right strategies you're trading and you stick to the proper risk reward. Now, you may not make it every day. You may make 500 one day, you may make 0 one day, or you may be negative. But you have to look at this over a period of time. Because if you break it down into days, then that brings another level of stress into your trading that you really don't need. I look at mine now, I look at it for the week, and then I look at it for the month. But I don't look at it until the end. I don't sit here and just add stuff up in my head. Even though it's easy, I'm not concerned with it until on Saturday when I pull it up and I start looking at it. That's when I become concerned if I don't make it. But, greed and impatience will cause you to give all of your profits back, and then some. You want to treat your trading like a business. You want to have a business plan. You want to have a plan of attack. And in the day trading course that Ross is teaching right now, you're going to learn how to, build a trade plan. Because you need to have a plan of attack going into the market every day. You want to know what you're going to trade, strategies you're going to trade. You want to know how you're going to find those stocks every day. You're going to want to know what you're going to do if you don't find these stocks. What's plan B for the day? And all of that you need to have in place. It needs to be written down, and it needs to be, organized, what your strategies are, what your rules are. Because I'm going to tell you, sometimes in trading you will get lost. And you will find yourself not remembering anything, not understanding anything. But if you have it written down and you have it documented, then you're going to have it when you reach these times and you experience these down times, you can go right back to your plan and find out who you are as a trader and get yourself back on the right track. But you really, and I can't stress this enough, you really, really, really need solid education. And I'm pushing Warrior Trading because I'm a mentor, I'm part of the team, I'm part of the community. But I can tell you, I don't make a dime off of people signing up to take these classes. You see, I'm not the one that teaches the classes. So I don't get anything for it. So me recommending it to you, I'm recommending it because it is the best thing out there right now. And I don't think anybody's willing to invest the time and the effort it's going to take to put an education program together like what we have. Because that's what it takes. Sure, you can go out here on the internet and watch these videos and watch classes of people, teaching this and teaching that. Well, the reality is if you don't have any way of putting it together, you can have all of these pieces of a puzzle, but unless you have a picture of it to tell you what the end result looks like, and somebody that can help you put this corner together and that corner together, then you're never going to get that puzzle put together. You're never going to, see what the end result looks like. So that's why we have, in this, that's why I stress you need to have education, because without it, especially trying to trade with a small account, you're not going to be successful. It's just not going to happen unless you're lucky, but eventually your luck will run out. And, without education, you have no foundation or nothing to kind of build yourself on or your career on. All right, to sum it up, you got to have a trade. You have a trading strategy, and you follow your strategy. And I stress your, because oftentimes, and I was guilty of it too coming up, I had a strategy, it worked, and the season changed. And in trading goes through seasons just like the weather does. And your setups aren't going to work. Your setups are going to work awesome in one season, but the other three, they're not going to work as well. And you're going to have one season where it barely works at all. Excuse me, most of the time it's going to be the summer. So like my strategies, they were hot all the way up till May. And then we started getting into the last couple of weeks of May, and the bottom fell out when June 1st hit. Identical to what happened last year. Now, last year I got messed up and started chasing other people's strategies and almost blew myself out of the water. But luckily I was able to realize all you need to do is adapt what you're doing and stick to your strategy. If you don't have a trade that day, don't take it. Just that simple. I'd rather not trade and keep my capital than try to find these trades and lose money. It doesn't make sense. So and in that respect, we have to be conservative in our trading. Learn your trading platform and your trading execution system. Why do you think Why do you think you can't get through to SureTrader? I can give you one guess. It's because SureTrader, they let you open up an account with $500. How many new, green, uneducated people are going to jump in, put $500 in, and say, I can day trade? I'm going to make me some money. They have so many clueless traders that just blow. I don't care how many people they hire. That phone will be tied up. The email will be tied up. I'm surprised that server doesn't crash, any more than it does, because of how many people that try to contact them every day about stupid stuff that they should have learned before they ever started trading. And that's one of the things I recommended on the blog I did on SureTrader. Make sure you understand their rules. Make sure you understand their fee schedule. Yeah, they can nail you with fees if you get outside of what you're supposed to be doing. And those fees are to keep you in line. So, do your due diligence. Learn your trading platform, no matter what it is. It could be SureTrader. It could be Thinkorswim. It could be Lightspeed. It could be eSignal, your charting, whatever you're using, make sure you learn it 100% before you start trading live. And that will save you a lot of headaches. Start small and manage the risk on each trade. I had a 5% rule. The larger account people, they had a 1% rule. But if you have a $1,500 account, 1% of that's 15 bucks. Or what? Yeah, $15. How are you gonna make money with a $15 stock? One tick and you're out. So, I use the 5% rule, and for a $1,500 account, you're gonna have $75, and you can't beat that. The 5% rule. You just can't. You can do 10% if you want to risk more or whatever, but I like the 5%, and I actually kept the $75 max loss for a long time. Even as my account grew, I kept it at 75, and then I realized I was suffocating myself by doing that. And don't overtrade. Only take the best setups. If you're a scalper, then yeah, you're gonna have to make multiple trades. But you gotta understand, if you're using SureTrader, the fees will add up. They will add up. So you have to be making money in order to negate the amount of money you're gonna spend on commissions. So just understand, and one rule that I like to use, if on an average, my round trip trade has a commission of $13, then when I'm looking for a setup, I want to see at least 5 or 6, or 7 times what the commission is going to be. So for instance, if my commission is 13 bucks, then I want to see at least $65 or $75 profit. But what's our max loss? Our max loss is $75. So that's not going to work, because we want to have at least 2 to 1. If we're going to risk $75, then we need to be able to make $150. So then we have to look for trades that has a chance of us getting $150. Now, if we see a trade and the max that we can get on it's like 75 bucks, then you're gonna have to do something with your risk. You're gonna have to drop your risk to like 45 bucks. You can't look for $75 and then have your risk at 75, because you won't be profitable that way. And as we trade, and as you see me trading live, and I cover, what's going on, you're gonna see, how I manage risk on these trades, and the things that I think about. Last slide. Every new trader, and this is, another good trader, Dan Shapiro, I saw. He said this. Every new trader should learn to fall out of love with trading the market. She does not love you or ever make you mentally whole. She is in it for the money and not the love. Like any relationship that mentally tortures you is not healthy. So stop loving her once and for all. This will emotionally detach you from every trade and let technicals take over. Does a construction worker love his hammer? I don't know. I know I did love my race car. So I don't know. I guess that's different. But in this case, you don't want to, you don't want to hold the market in this high regard. I know the market is where you're pulling the money from. I know that's where the money is, but you can't love it. You can't have a relationship with it. You can't marry it. You know, when it's time to when the bell rings and it's time to shut down, you leave her butt right there where she is. Don't try to take her home with you. Don't try to take her to bed with you. It's just not gonna work. So, I saw that when he said that, I mean it really rang home with me. And that's, just what we have to do. We have to detach ourselves, personally and emotionally from the market. And then we have to build our responses, our emotional responses. We have to train ourselves to respond in the correct way to these emotions. And I talked about that in the psychology that I was going over with the Warrior Pro students. That's some of what we were working on before we had to take a break for these classes, but we'll get back to that. But it's really, really important that you detach yourself emotionally from the market. All right, that's it for the presentation, but I'm gonna let you see again. This is the platform that I use. It's a live, it's real SureTrader account. I opened up a new one, and I am going through. I went through the learning, well, not the learning. I guess the new Trader Blues. When you open up a new account, I had some issues with it, with my money disappearing, and stuff like that. But they were able to work it out. Yeah, it took a little bit longer than it used to take, but they worked it out. And I know I did take a trade. I do have about $400 more in here than I had when I first showed it to you. I think I had 14 something. I was kind of trying to get everything together, and I realized then I had a technical problem with trying to record this. So I did take one trade. It didn't record or anything, so I haven't taken any more trades out of this yet. So I said I'll just start. So I am starting a little bit, ahead of the game with 1835. But it came from a trade that I made. And one of the questions I got today that I want to share with you, I felt this would be good to share. They asked me, how do you save money? It's like I know how to put money up, but every time I turn around, something happens and I have to spend it. Well, when I first started, it was easy for me to do it because there was no minimum deposit. Once you made that initial $500 deposit, I could put $200 in, I could put $100 in, I could send $50. It didn't matter. Now SureTrader has a $500 minimum for any deposit you want to make. And that's going to make it difficult if you have to save up a couple $100 here and a couple $100 there. And all I can say is that it was easy for me to do that because if I worked on I still have people that bring their race cars to me for me to tune or tune the carburetor or tune the nitrous, whatever the case may be, and I get a couple $100 for it. Or if I go to the track with them and work with them, I get a couple $100. So what I would do was just as soon as I got it, just put it in this in my account and just send it to them. So that's going to be a little tricky. You want to try to do it whenever you get $500. I would say put it in. Now don't take money from your mortgage and all of that, car payment and all of that. this is just extra money that you have laying around. And once you put it in some place and you can get $500, send it. And that way you don't have to worry about dipping into it. Plus, you should have an emergency account anyway, that you put money in. But I can't get into that. So I went about 5 or 6 minutes over what I wanted to go over. So this is what you're going to be seeing on the video. I have the SPY up here, this chart. I'm using the 9 moving average, which is the red line, the 20, which is the blue, 200 is the white, and purple is the VWAP. Now, I may or may not get to draw a line on here, lines of support and resistance. I may get to draw one line. That's the level that I'm watching it off of. But I'm not going to be able to draw all of them because this doesn't work as well as Thinkorswim as far as drawing trend lines. I can't get an exact price, but it'll give me an idea of where it is, and visually when you see this recording, you'll be able to see where it's at. But I just wanted to quickly today kind of give you an overview of some of the challenges that we're going to be facing. I'm going to be facing them because my focus is going to be on this small account. It's not going to be trading my larger account right now. The focus is going to be on this. Now, yeah, I will take other trades if I see an A+ setup and it looks good, then yeah, I may take it. But my focus is going to be on this. So if you have any questions, just email me, ed@warriortrading.com. Just shoot me an email and I'll be happy to answer, or you can leave it on this video. But hopefully tomorrow, I'll have a trade to post. And if I don't have a trade, or if something happens, well, if I don't have a trade, I probably won't post anything. But if something unique happens, or something out of the ordinary, or something that I feel I need to share, then I'll do a video, even if I didn't have a trade. But we'll be actively looking for them tomorrow, and hopefully I can share them with you then. All right, everybody have a good evening, and we'll see you tomorrow in chat.